Hey, what's going on to all of my Scorpios? So the cards that I got for you are the Four of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, the Hierophant, the Ace of Pentacles, the the Devil, the Seven of Wands, the Hanged Man, the Four of Wands. You've got the Nine of Wands, and then last but not least, you've got the Knight of Swords. Okay, so what I'm seeing here for you Scorpios, right, is that's interesting. That's very interesting. The Four of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, the Hierophant. Some of you Scorpios may be dealing with someone right now who you know that you can't trust. But you're essentially they may think that they're manipulating you, but you Scorpios may actually be manipulating them. What are you manipulating them for? You know, intimacy. Um, some of it may be money because they're leading with it. They're putting it out there while trying to think that they're so much of a mastermind. But in actuality, a lot of you Scorpios are dealing with this person and they kind of already revealed their hand that they're not necessarily trustworthy. So a lot of you Scorpios already know what time it is. You know that this relationship is not anything too serious. You have the Devil card. You have the Ace of Pentacles. You're coming up off of them, essentially. You're getting a bag off of them, as you should. You know, why should you have to sit there and deal with people who think that they're so smart or whatever the case may be, when in actuality, not really. You know what I mean? They're actually quite all over the place. They're saying one thing, doing another while saying something else. All all the times that they crisscross themselves and they don't know what exactly is going on with them. They're unable to keep track of all the things that they themselves say. So a lot of you Scorpios are just playing them. As much as they think that they're playing you, you're really playing them. The Hierophant and the Queen of Wands. You figured out that they were not necessarily very trustworthy, nor were they very worth your trust. Yes, trustworthy, but they weren't someone that you can keep around long term and take seriously and date, because you pretty much already knew coming in very soon. You already knew what time it was. Oh, these people are not really trustworthy like that. Oh, okay, cool. You know, they're leading with their money, you know, and a lot of you Scorpios are willing to let them use their money. Now, I will say this though, Scorpio, you may want to be very careful of you doing that, because people take that personally. Cash is a thing where a lot of people, you got to understand, dysfunctional people, we live in a society where people equate or conflate money or how much resources a person has with being decent and upstanding, right? They join the two together, they conflate the two, and they think that the more money you have is the more decent and upright you are. So keep in mind, when you out here playing these games, right? You got the Devil card, right? Manipulation and all that stuff. Scorpio, you're the zodiac sign for that. Just be careful with that. Now, I'm not the type of person who's going to tell you Scorpios you shouldn't do that, because ultimately you grown. You're going to do whatever it is that you want to do at the end of the day. I'm just trying to make sure that y'all are kept as safe as possible by letting you know real world what's happening here. So you may want to pay attention to that. You may want to stop doing it soon after you watch this video, because people take that type of stuff seriously. And when they start to lose all that money and you dip out, they may take it personally. So because to them, because of the fact that you're taking the money away, it means that you're taking their decency away too. So they're going to come looking for you. Now, I will say that be very careful. Also, too, you may also want to stop doing it because there's people, because if they are leading with their wallet, take into consideration that dysfunctional people hang out with other dysfunctional people. So more than likely, they got a whole cohort or a whole group of dysfunctional people ready for whatever BS. As long as it's not functional, they're ready to go off and egg your door and egg your home and egg your residence and throw toilet paper all over it and all this other type of stuff. They're ready to commit vandalism and all this other type of stuff, or you know, I don't want them to, but potentially even worse because they're dysfunctional. So prank call you and all this other type of stuff and all that other type of gobbledygook. So just take into consideration that since this is the game that you plan, you may want to leave them behind soon afterwards, because the closer you are to them, the longer you stay there, is the worse or the more detrimental things become for you. So just pay attention to that. The Seven of Wands represents how will they ever actually wise up? No, they won't. They're too caught up. They're too delusional. So you got to understand, right? In Kabbalah and the clip off, there's there's a space in between the Kabbalah and the clip off, because the clip off represents the roots, the Kabbalah represents the tree, stuff like this, top of the tree. The water that is in the soil, I should say, right? If you can catch my analogy, is what the middle place is. And the middle place is the regular modern day average thought process. Go to work, eat, sleep, go to the bathroom. So they're not awake, right? They're not aware. They're not conscious, right? They're not aware. They're not actually taking things into consideration. They're very much so distracted by the day to day. Nor do they want to actually become more aware. Money is the only thing that matters to them, and they equate decency with money, right? They conflate the two. They join the two together. So what happens here is the Seven of Wands represents these types of people, more than likely, unless they have the willingness to learn, which most people do not. Most people actually do not have the willingness to learn after the age of 25. Most, they say that there's a misconception that where they say that after the age of 25 your brain fully develops. I actually don't agree. I actually say after the age of 25, that's when your brain becomes atrophied, most people, because they lose that inquisitive nature. They lose that ability to interrogate. What do I mean when I say interrogate? Question. They lose that ability to question, to be experimentative, to actually go out and experience, right? And as a result, they actually become rigid and brittle in their ideology, right? Their day-to-day routines. So these types of people, Seven of Wands, are they ever going to get their stuff together? More than likely, no. That's just how the cookie crumbles. And then the thing is that the Hanged Man, do they actually need to take a long look at themselves in the mirror? Of course they do. But at the same time, it'll be very difficult for them to actually do that, because you have to remember, these are people who are not aware. These are people who are not conscious. So the Four of Wands represents some of you Scorpios may still decide to hang out with these people afterwards, or kind of hang out with them, but be loose, meaning that you loosely hang out with them. Every now and again, you're starting to kind of disappear and make yourself more and more scarce with this person, these people in general. And then you have the Nine of Wands. These people kind of see it, that you're starting to act differently with them, and they don't necessarily know why, or yeah, they don't necessarily know why. And then you have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is that to them, that's their way of trying to create a relationship with you. Is them spending their money first and leading with their wallet. But the Nine of Wands, yeah, they don't necessarily know why, because they're kind of mindless. They're kind of not there, if you catch my drift. You know, the lights are on, but there's no one in the home, if you catch my drift. So as a result, they think that they're creating a strong foundation with you to build the relationship on top of. I don't necessarily know why that's a thing. You know what I mean? Let's clarify. Okay, so let's clarify the Knight of Swords. Matter of fact, let's clarify the Nine of Wands, because we got a lot to clarify. Five of Pentacles, Empress, excuse me, Nine of Pentacles, Four of Cups. To clarify the Nine of Wands. So the Five of Pentacles, like I said, they starting to see that a lot of you Scorpios started to make yourself more scarce, because you know, they thought that they may have been playing you or trying to get you to not leave, or put you, you know, kind of cast the bait out there for you as the fish to get, and you leaving kind of pokes holes in their bucket, because they wanted to try to get you hooked, and it didn't work. The Empress represents, don't, if they call you and they ask you, or they text you, or they communicate with you and they ask you, why are you doing that? Just tell them, either don't tell them anything at all and continue to ghost, or tell them that things didn't necessarily work out between you and them. Okay. Then you have the Nine of Pentacles, okay? And then the Nine of Pentacles represents you continue on to do what it is that you need to do, right? And then the Four of Cups represents, because these people, if you continue to interact with these people ever again, pretty much, it's just going to be the same old game. They're going to be out here trying to get you to be desperate for them, because they're not that bright in the first place. And as a result, if you fall for the okie doke, then you're going to be caught up on out of here, because they're going to treat you worse than you treated them. So let's clarify the Nine of Wands. So to clarify the Nine of Wands, we have the Six of Swords, Page of Pentacles, the King of Wands, the Five of Cups. The Six of Swords, Page of Pentacles, King of Wands, and the Five of Cups is, they're going to try to come in trying to put money on the table even more. Hey, you know, why don't we go out to this restaurant at Ruth Chris or Steak 48, you know, one of them fancy restaurants or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? That, they're paying, you know what I mean? To butter you up so that you can go ahead and get back on and play their game and be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna give this a try, so they can ultimately play you and play you worse than you end up playing them. You Scorpios need to understand that you've won already. Don't be out here going back. Just leave them alone. It's already done. They played them. They played themselves, because if they out here and they're gonna be out here talking about how they're trying to get to know people, that's not a very good plan. They shouldn't be utilizing their money. People who utilize their money as a means of getting people to mess with them, that's a person who is very detrimental on many different levels, because they don't have internal decency. So those are people who are very much so, unfortunately, compromised. Let's clarify the Hangman. Let's clarify the Hangman. So the cards that we have for the Hangman is the Two of Swords, the Three of Cups, the Justice, the Eight of Cups. So to clarify the Hangman, so the Two of Swords is you getting things out of them, and they're just coming out with their money, spending, 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 spending. They're gonna know something's off with this situation, but they're not. But they are having problems, which is good. It means that you're actually keeping them on their feet, but they're still not having any kind of self-realization, because that's what the Hangman represents. It's supposed to represent a self-realization and a real no ego moment, but they're not having that. They're being blind to it. So you know what that means? That means that you are correct for doing what it is that you're doing, because they're not learning anything. So the thing is that the Three of Cups now represents how they may already have somebody too. You know what I mean? It's just that, like I said, they're using money to get you caught up. The Justice and the Eight of Cups represents they didn't like the fact that you decided to leave. Excuse me, they don't like the fact that you are getting all these things for them that they didn't anticipate. They thought that as soon as they started whipping out some money and they started taking you to a restaurant or started buying things for you, that would make you biased. And obviously that didn't work. So when it's time for you to leave, or when they have an argument with you, because some people will use that manipulation tactic. Some people will use money to get your loyalty, right? Right? They telling you they're gonna do this for you and stuff like this, and they're gonna, and they got this money and they offering it to you, and you're gonna work with them and stuff like this, and try to build that closeness, all so that they can, when it's time for them to start wilding out, they start acting like a plum. They start acting the worst way possible, and then now you out here and you're compromised, because now you're in a position where I'm getting some good money, but at the same time, this person is a jerk. Should I walk away? So just take that into consideration. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Trying to get this YouTube channel to 2,500 subscribers and then 3,000 subscribers. But let's get to 2,500 first. Keep hitting that subscribe button. Keep hitting that like button. Keep hitting the notification bell, and set the notification bell to all so you can get notified whenever it is that I drop these videos. Really appreciate y'all. Y'all been looking out for me. Thank you. Peace.